Guys, welcome back into another episode of Barbers United Fantasy Football League. We're here. And not a good week for myself, which I called. Not a good week for our boy Dalton. However, we have the savior of the league. We have our champion, the league's champion, the man who defeated Lucas. Book of Mormoms has been taken down by the one and only Big, and I will say it this time, Big Dub Shuts.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Big Dub Shuts. Let's go.
The floor is yours. You
win.
finally got a big dub. Take it away.
I'm not going to lie. So I was not expecting to win here. I don't think anyone was expecting me to win. Let's just be honest. I went into this week. I was like, you know what? I'm at least going to set my lineup. Going to at least try, put in some effort, and then I'm just not going to look at it. So that's basically what I did. I saw that Curtis Samuel was going to be ruled out, which is what it is. So I didn't have anyone else. So I had to play two tight ends, which I was like, yeah, it's just downhill from here. Sunday, didn't look at it. I didn't even think anything of it. And Marcos texted me. He's like, bro, I need you to pull off this win. I thought he was playing with me. He sent me a picture, and I'm winning by I want to say it was by 15, 20 points at this time. And I was like, there's no way. And then I start actually watching the games and stuff. I'm like, I could actually win. So big dub. I'm pretty excited about it. So
two tight ends. That's a strategy, dude. What made you go with Luke Musgrave over? I mean, you have Miles Sanders. I mean, I'll probably Rashad Bateman. I probably could have played either of those over playing a second tight end. What was the thought process there?
So with Bateman, he's just not been consistent. I think the most he's scored is 7 points, and both of my tight ends have scored more than 7 points at some time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to risk it. Mine as well. Miles Sanders, every time I've played him, he's just not done well. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of him. So sat him. And which I'm glad I did. Musgrave ended up getting me 14 points, and then Ferguson another 22, which is insane for tight ends. Yeah. They actually scored more than both of my main wide receivers. Musgrave himself scored more than my two main wide receivers combined.
Crazy. Well, I know you're excited about your team and looking forward for the future, and we're going to get into that later in the video. Let's jump into the rest of these matchups before we move on here. Dalton, you want to walk us through them?
All right, rounding out our matches for Week 9, we had the Daltonius Daddies losing to Marcos Trap Daddy Thatcher 95-119. We had Team JM Landrum losing to Team J Money 108-166. We had Big Dub Shuts, who's in the house with us today, beating the number 1 seed Lucas, the Book of Mormoms, 135-107. Jonas Only Fades losing to Team T-Shet 85-130. The Cooper Scoopers losing to CD's TD's 104-142. And for our game of the week, we had Braden, the Catalina Wine Mixin, losing to Mark MJ Burley 81-91.
Listen, we try to be nice about this game of the week, giving it to two guys right at the bottom, fighting for their playoff lives, for their season lives, and that was a waste of our time. These two teams both showed that, yeah, Mark got the win, but neither of them are going to make any kind of noise whatsoever. I mean, to win with 91 points, 81, the lowest scoring total of any of the matchups, there's no hope for either of them. I know we said it, whoever won would still have a chance and the loser wouldn't. I don't think there's a chance for either of them. That was very disappointing.
You know, I'm going to agree with you. I am going to agree with you on that. But now we know for certain, mathematically speaking, it is still possible for Braden, but it's not looking good, man. It's just not looking good. And that game of the week, that one's on me. That's a bad game of the week pick. That one's on me. I'll eat that one.
My matchup, there's not much to say. I told you guys I was going to lose. I told you tried to pick me, and then I showed you why you shouldn't, and then I think you swapped your picks.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, bye weeks, I knew what was going to happen. I did my best, but when you're starting a Patriots wide receiver and a Bears running back, you don't have much hope. Sorry, Shuts.
Or the Giants defense.
I understand.
Or the Giants defense or a Jets tight end. I mean, they're a terrible offense as well. You would probably say the 4 worst offenses in the league are the Bears, the Jets, the Patriots, and the 3 of the worst offenses I played. Multiple players from some of them. Multiple Jets, the Patriots, and the Bears were all in my lineup this week.
So I want to ask, what made you not want to start Odell this week?
I mean, it wasn't going to make a difference for me.
It wasn't going to make a difference, but no. But Thielen versus Odell.
Yeah, but Thielen's been a top 10 wide receiver. He's the 8th wide receiver in the league right now. Odell's literally, I don't know. Yeah. Thielen's top 10, and I don't know if Odell's had a double-digit game before this week. So wasn't going to make a difference, though. I really didn't overthink it too much. I kind of just set my lineup. Yeah, Odell had 9.9 one time this year. That was his highest. So
can we talk about how Ty had C.J. Stroud on the bench?
Yeah,
and that would have made your matchup an absolute massacre.
It would have.
He would have almost 100-pieced you.
And we'll talk about this moving forward for Ty's team when we start looking at next week. But he might have found his quarterback in the future.
Start Stroud, bro.
Trying to find his quarterback. That might be it. Let's see. Were there any other good matchups? Blake blows. Cooper Scooper's out. Blake is on a heater. I mean, it's six in a row.
Yeah.
He's not slowing down. Dalton, anything from your matchup?
Dude, Travis Kelce got to figure it out.
Bad week for you as well.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks kind of, just crap the bed. Like, it is what it is. We're looking weird. I'm still just waiting on JJ to come back.
Yep. Jefferson's on the horizon. Yeah. He'll be back soon enough.
And Josh Dobbs will be throwing it to him, so he'll get the ball. Like, he'll be good.
Shuts, I want your input on this one because these are your two boys. J Money, not JM Money. J Money takes down JM Landrum and moves himself all the way up to into the playoff picture. We had said it earlier in the year. He's scoring a lot of points. John's in the thick of this. He had a really good week.
Yeah, he did. I did say earlier the last time I was here that I thought John was going to start winning some matches. Or at least I picked him for that round. I might have not said multiple, but I'm not overly surprised that he won this week. Jake didn't really have. He had White do really well this week for him, but other than that, nothing too crazy. But John just had a killer week. He had Hurts go 24, and then Amari Cooper with 24, and then his two flex spots when they're scoring 16 and 21. I mean, it doesn't matter who he's going to play. I mean, most likely he's going to win. So just a really good match, or really good week for John this week. So not much Jake could have done against this one. So
agreed. Let's look at these standings.
Taking a look at our standings following week 9. At number 1, we have Lucas, the Book of Mormoms. At number 2, Blake, CD's TDs. At number 3, Marcos, Trap Daddy Thatcher. At number 4, Jonas, Only Fades. At number 5, Ty, Team T Shet. At number 6, Team J Money. At number 7, the Cooper Scoopers. At number 8, yours truly, the Daltonius Daddies. At number 9, Big Dub Shuts. At number 10, Team MJ Burley. At number 11, JM Landrum. And at number 12, Braden, the Catalina Wine Mixin. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 4 and 5, and 2 teams at 5 and 4. From Jonas at number 4 all the way down to Shuts at number 9, there's 1 game of separation. Like, the middle of the pack is going crazy record wise. Point diff is a whole other animal, but record wise, that's a lot of teams fighting for those playoff spots.
Dalton, did you realize you're not even a half a point more than me? I don't know if you saw that, but that's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. 0.3, pretty much 0.3 points.
Yeah. Because I was trying to do the math, before I actually finished. I was like, I wonder if I'm going to be ahead of him or not. And I'm like, I'm not even going to be a point ahead. I was so mad.
Listen, you guys know I don't like to talk it about Mark or his team, but his points scored would put him in 7th place right now. Now, that doesn't actually matter because record is what matters, but a lot of times based on points scored, you can forecast what might happen, right? If a team is, undefeated, but they have like the least points scored or toward the bottom of the league, you might say, well, they just had some easy matchups. They're not that good of a team. And the same works vice versa. Mark would still be ahead of both you three, ahead of Cooper Scoopers, ahead of Team T-Shet. He wouldn't be ahead of Team T-Shet, but he'd be very close. It's only like 11 points off him. So I like to say Mark's out of it, and he played really bad. I do think he's out of it. I don't genuinely think he'll be in the playoffs. But if you're on Mark's side, or if you're Mark and you're looking at that, you're saying, dude, I deserved it, or at least right on the outside of it. So a lot can happen looking at these standings. There's a lot of people, like you said, jumbled up together. Earlier in the year, I said me, Blake, Marcos, and Lucas were locks, and the rest of the league was fighting for the other 2 spots. I have since lost 2 in a row, so I still think I'm a lock, but anything can happen right now.
Yeah. My thing with the total points scored is I like to look at like what your average is more than just your total points, because you can get one crazy week where this doesn't apply to Lucas exactly because, he's obviously number one in the league, but you can get one crazy week where 3 of your guys drop 40 points, one of them being your defense. And it's like magic, right? And so that's why I like to look at your average because, at this point in the year, how many points you're scoring on a normal basis is probably how many points you're scoring. Your average. And
let it be known, I just had a terrible week. I had the least amount of points scored last week, and I'm still second in points scored. So I'm just throwing that out there. Doesn't mean anything, but I'm throwing that out. So let's give out some superlatives for week 9. Who had the biggest win?
Biggest win got to be Shuts.
Got to be Shuts.
Yes,
we
sir.
opened up with them. We let him say his part. Big dub Shuts.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So my biggest L, I'm torn. Yep. I'm torn between you, Jonas, and Lucas. But I'm going with you as the biggest L this week because you only scored 85 points, man.
Yeah, but we knew this was going to happen.
He was missing what, 3 of your top players?
Biggest L goes to the guy who's got it 15 times already this year, Braden. This is a no-brainer. I mean, his season's over.
Because he lost to Mark?
Yeah, season's over. This was his Super Bowl right here. This was his only chance to keep his. I mean, this was the biggest game he's going to have all year.
All right. I'll concede that one, and we'll give it to Braden again. Poor guy, man.
Who's on thin ice? Can't be Braden. He's in the water. He's drowning.
So I actually don't have a team on thin ice right now because of how the records are. I think everybody who's kind of in that 5-4, 4-5 range, like they're doing too well to be put on thin ice. And it's kind of anybody's game. Now, everybody below that, I feel like the ice is already cracked. You know what I mean?
Can I give you a thin ice? Can I give you a thin ice?
Is it me?
It's not you, dude. It's not you. And it's not on thin ice to miss the playoffs. It's not on thin ice, anything like that. It's on thin ice to lose the number 1 seed.
Ooh.
Lucas is on thin ice. You know why? You guys probably haven't looked at this yet, but have you guys seen what's about to happen to him this week?
He's playing Mark this week.
He's playing Mark. Look at his projected points.
Oh my gosh. He doesn't have
the Philadelphia Eagles and the Miami Dolphins are both on byes, and that is his entire starting lineup. Tua Tagovailoa.
My God.
It's bad.
Yo, he doesn't even have an extra tight end. He doesn't have a tight end. I mean, he can pick one up.
DeAndre Swift, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, and the Eagles defense.
And no tight end. Who's he going to pick up?
Oh,
Smith
no.
Atlanta?
Oh, no is right.
Oh, no.
Mark could win. He could find a way to lose it, but if he does, then...
Oh, my.
That being said, let's jump into these predictions so we can predict this because you guys know I'm taking Mark. So, Dalton, run us through our matchups.
All right, our matchups for week 10. We've got the Daltonius Daddies taking on Team JM Landrum. Braden, the Catalina Wine Mixin, taking on the Cooper Scoopers. Jonas Only Fades taking on Team J Money. Team T Shet taking on Big Dub Shuts. Team MJ Burley taking on Lucas, the Book of Mormoms. Look out for an upset there. We'll talk about this here in a second. And for our game of the week, Blake CDs TDs versus Marcos Trap Daddy Thatcher, the number 2 seed versus the number 3 seed. We're looking at a potential playoff matchup here. Gotta be our game of the week.
I don't know who you guys are going to pick here. This is a tough one. I mean, unfortunately, it's hard to pick against Blake right now because he's won 6 in a row. So I'm not going to be the one to say that's going to end. If it's going to end, I mean, this probably is the spot where it happens because Marcos has been just as good, but I'm going to pick Blake.
I think I'm going to have to take Marcos on this one. He's just had a solid year. I just don't see him losing. Now, granted, like you were saying, Jonas, Blake has been on a hot streak, so it is very possible he still beats Marcos. Marcos has been solid all year, so I think he's going to pull out the dub on this one.
Don?
I think this matchup is going to come down to whichever tight end plays better. We've got Hunter Henry versus TJ Hawkinson.
No. Let me stop you there. You don't have Hunter Henry.
Oh, you got me again?
You got Sam Laporta versus TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, did trade go through that I'm not seeing?
You got the current Lions tight end versus the old Lions tight end. No, he's on his bench. He was on a bye last week. So you got to think right now he's got ETN on his bench that's going to be in his lineup, and he has Laporta that's going to be in his lineup at least. It's going to be a good match. This is going to be a good matchup of the week. This is going to be high scoring. But I think it's Blake.
I don't know, man. This is a pretty difficult one. I'm gonna go out on a whim and pick Marcos because he beat me last week. And if I'm gonna lose to somebody, I want them to stay on a hot streak.
Also, think about this though. If Blake beats Marcos and Lucas loses, Blake's the new number one.
That does shake things up.
It does shake things up.
Let's talk about Mark versus Lucas. Let's really talk about this one, man, because
I just don't think there's much to talk about, Colin. I think it's going to happen, man.
You think Mark is gonna pull it off because Lucas's lineup is almost entirely on a bye week.
It is entirely on a bye. He's got Jonathan Taylor, Hollywood Brown, Gus Edwards, and the Cowboys defense. That's it. That's of actual options to play. I mean, some play Quentin Johnson. You know about Quentin Johnson shots.
Yep. Great.
Exactly. I mean, he's going to be all over the waiver wire, and I don't think
he doesn't even have a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, what are his options on the waiver wire? Like, there's no way there's anybody.
Baker Mayfield,
Noah Brown,
Taylor, Heineke or whatever his name is for Atlanta.
His top 3 running backs he can choose from: Latavius Murray, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Ty Chandler. Tell me if you like any of those names. His top 3 wide receivers are Khalil Shakur, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Juju Smith-Schuster. And he's got to get a tight end, so his options there are Jonnu Smith, Kate Otten, and Chiga Okonkwo.
Who?
This is done, dude. If he does this, it would be absolutely incredible. One of the greatest fantasy football victories of all time.
Yeah, I'll be impressed because looking through this, man, I don't see it happening. I think you're right. I think Mark's going to pull it off.
Mark is going to be 4-6.
But let's not forget, this is Lucas we're talking about here. This is the secret sauce.
Mark.
So there's still a chance for some magic to happen. There's always a chance for some magic to happen. Weirdly enough, in this case, the magic would be for Lucas, which he probably hasn't had magic like this since week 1 when the Cowboys dropped a 40 bomb. I'm still salty about it. So I'm going to pick Mark as well, just because the odds aren't in Lucas's favor numerically, but it's a hesitant pick nonetheless.
Mark, if you screw this up, you should never play fantasy football again. Ever play again.
That's a crazy shot. All right.
Am I wrong?
I don't
Who's he playing against?
When you're playing against an empty lineup, all I can do is agree with that. Next matchup, let's take a look at Ty Team T-Shet versus Shuts.
I mean, Shuts, floor is yours, dude. You earned it.
All right, so I'm going to take myself this week, hoping I stay on a hot streak. Now, I don't think it's going to be a blowout match by any means. I think it's going to be pretty close. Just depends if honestly, if Adams can do anything. I mean, he scored 7 points last week and then 2 points the week before that.
Don't do this, Shot. Stop.
He won't.
I'm going to stop you. Let me stop you, dude. Don't do this. Have some confidence, bro. You're just coming off the biggest win of your season. I joined the chat. You and Dalton were already going back and forth. Tell us about how Cam Akers is out for the season. Alexander Mattisson's the number 1 running back there. He's going to take off. The Devontae Adams has a new head coach. Aiden O'Connell's his quarterback.
That's the only one I'm not going to agree with.
The Bears, Justin Fields is coming back. He's going to bring DJ Moore. They're going up against the sorry Carolina Panthers. DJ Moore's revenge game, his old team. He wants to kill them. He's going to show them they never should have traded him. This is your week, bro. Listen, I'm riding Shuts. Shuts won. Shouldn't have said that. Pause. Listen.
Hey, yo.
Listen.
Okay. I got that.
I'm riding Team Big Dub Shuts this week. He's hot. He got the win of the season so far, win of the league. He gets a win here because his team is motivated. I don't think you should start 2 tight ends again, but I'm picking your team to win.
All right, bet. Yeah, I probably won't end up playing both of them, but we'll see what happens. All right, Dalton, who are you thinking?
I'm also going to pick Shuts, not super hesitantly, but like moderately hesitantly because of CJ Stroud. But also, you never know, like that could be like the legacy moment, and we don't see anything like that the rest of the year. He's going up against Burrow, who you've got. So
this is true.
I'm going to pick you because Burrow's more proven and because you're on that heater right now. So I'm also going to pick you, Shuts. Also, Travis Kelce's on a bye. Let's make a deal for a 1-week rental for Musgrave.
If you give me Kelce, I'm keeping him.
Well, no, I'm not going to. He ever offered you Kelce?
I'm not going to give you Kelce. Travis Kelce is on a bye. I just need a tight end to rent for a week. We'll talk about it off camera.
Okay.
Next matchup, Jonas. Let's talk about you a little bit. We have Jonas Only Fades taking on Team J Money. Both quarterbacks that y'all have in your starting lineup right now, Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, both on a bye. his running back 1, your running back 2, Isaiah Pacheco and Raheem Mostert, both on a bye. So that's going to be an interesting situation. Y'all look like you got guys to fill out just about all those roles, though, with the exception of quarterback for you, Jonas.
Listen, I'm trying to make a deal for Brock Purdy. I could use a quarterback like him this week. The manager of Brock Purdy needs some players. Come talk to me.
We'll figure out. Happen. We'll have to like cut a section of this, and we'll figure out a whole team, like a 3-team trade here.
Trade there you go. No, I mean, listen. I came off a bad week last week with a bunch of bye weeks. This week is not much better. No Mostert, no Mahomes, but I get my 49ers back. I'm going to win this one. I'm going to win. John's doing well, but John's sidetracked. Listen, it's John's wedding week. He's got way bigger things he's got to focus on. He might not even set a lineup come Saturday night. He's just going to be all jumbled, preoccupied, shut.
Don't worry. I'll remind him.
Yeah. You're going to help distract him. And I think I'm going to win this one. Yeah. I'm going to turn my season around. We've had 2 bad weeks. Skid ends. We're good.
Yeah. I'm going to agree.
Yeah. All right. I'm taking Jonas on this one.
I kind of want to see Jonas start Odell this week.
That's not happening.
We'll stick with the trend of the 3 of us. We'll do the Daltonius Daddies versus Team JM Landrum.
Dalton, I want to pick you, my man, but not seeing Kelsey in your lineup worries me. I mean, he's a big part of your team. Kelsey or die.
Yep.
Still no Jay Jetta's back. I mean, Jake's done nothing to make me want to pick him at all. But I think I'm going to pick Jake in this one. Unless you make out a deal for Luke Musgrave, then I might change my mind. Yeah. And maybe if you get something for Brock Purdy, that way he doesn't just sit on your bench for nothing, then maybe,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna figure something out. We're gonna get my lineup changed up a little bit.
Dude, who was your starting quarterback to start the season?
My starting quarterback to start the season was Deshaun, the man, the myth, the Watson.
Okay, I'll say because I don't remember you didn't start with Brock Purdy, and you definitely didn't start Bryce Young. So.
I had Brock Purdy on the bench throughout a good bit of the season, and he was regularly doing just worse than Deshaun. And then whenever Deshaun decided to basically quit football for a month, that was whenever I put Purdy in. So like, I'm going to pick myself not based off of my current lineup. We are recording this pre-waivers, and I have a couple trades out and stuff that I'm trying to make some moves to figure some things out with the lineup to kind of have some, what's the word? Resilience with Kelsey gone. So I'm picking myself because if I think half the things, or let me rephrase, I'm picking myself because if half of the moves that I'm trying to hit, I'll be good. If all of them hit, it's going to be a slaughter.
If you have Odell on your roster, then you might have a chance. That's all I'm going to say.
We'll talk. We won't give out all the details on camera. Not show everybody how the sausage gets made.
I'm going to pick Dalton on this one. It is saying that Montgomery is out, so that might be a game time decision. So he might still play. That's just something else to look at. And then if Dalton does pick up some players, I feel like that will help. So either way, I do think it might be a close matchup this week, but I'm picking Dalton.
I think that does it for all our matchups, right?
We have one more.
No, we don't.
Dude, come on now.
We don't.
Come on now. We have one more matchup. We can make it quick.
All right, boys. Cooper Scoopers. If you pick Catalina Wine Mixon, I don't know what's happening. Do we even need to look at it?
We don't. I don't.
Braden has Kyler Murray. Braden has Kyler Murray, Ooh. Will Levis, and Jordan Love, and he can only start one of them. Who should he start?
Will Levis. Does it matter?
Are we talking about this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's so many better things to talk about.
We could start any quarterback in the league, and he's still going to lose.
He could start all 3 of them, and he'd lose. Oh,
that's
what
wrong.
Do we do?
Disrespectful.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah.
He Catalina put up 81 points last week in his game of the week.
Yeah, Catalina Wine Mixon versus Cooper Scoopers. I'm gonna pick Cooper Scoopers. I'm sorry, Braden.
I'm not. Draft better.
It's tough, dude. It's tough.
Fantasy football is tough.
Waiver wire will have already happened by the time this comes out. Who's y'all's biggest watch list on the waiver wire this week?
I mean, Lucas.
For me,
Lucas is going to be all over the waiver wire.
Oh no, I meant players. There's
nobody good on there. There's nobody good on there. Yeah. I mean, they're going to spend someone's going to spend money on Josh Dobbs. I can promise you that.
Yeah, probably.
Which
Juju.
listen, he got the win, and nobody could be more excited for him. Like, go Josh Dobbs. I love it.
Yeah.
Nothing in that performance would make me want to play him in fantasy football. Like, come on now. Like, yes, he threw a touchdown. I'm happy for him. I hope he wins a lot of games. He's got a lot of good weapons, but like, what did he score fantasy wise? Maybe like
22.
22.
That's not bad. I mean, it's nothing that
Not
you're
bad.
like, wow, 22, but like, not bad.
For the amount of money that's going to be spent on him tomorrow, I can promise you, you're going to be like, I don't know if I would have spent that much.
Hey, he is a top 10 quarterback in fantasy football right now.
Is he actually?
He's number 10.
Dang.
He's number 10. So, you know,
Pretty good.
I'm
Pretty
happy
good.
for him, dude. Dobbs was the quarterback at Tennessee whenever I moved out here. And so Joshua Dobbs has a special place in my heart. I hope he does great.
Listen, he's an ex-Steeler. I root for Josh Dobbs everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
I'm all for Josh Dobbs. If I won him on the waiver wire and put him in my lineup, I just am saying I wouldn't be happy about it. I would be a little nervous. I'd be a little nervous.
I mean, yeah, he's never been like the guy anywhere. So there's definitely like reason to be nervous, but he's a veteran at this point.
It's going to be a very active waiver wire. There's just not many good players. Like I'm not even upset. We're not going to be able to talk about it, but people are going to be fighting because a lot of people need a lot of pieces because of the bye weeks.
Our teams that we have on bye week for week 10 are the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Terrible scheduling. But
That is a lot of star players all on bye week this week. I'm kind of excited to see what fantasy scoring looks like without the Tuas, the Tyreeks, the Waddles, you know, the Cooper Cubs, the Puka Nakuas, like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce's, right?
You just named all of Lucas's roster.
Yeah, right. Like
you're excited to see
like Jalen Hurts, you know, that nasty Eagles defense. Like that's a lot of points that just aren't getting played this week.
That's good for us.
Yeah, bye weeks are crazy, man. So if for any of y'all watching, if you've got players on those teams, do not start them this week.
Or do.
I'm not a professional.
John, nicely. Start them. Peace out, boys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Be back same time, same place next week.
You're